현재 중앙승가대학 불교 사회학부 교수로 계신
Next, we will have Professor Kim Eung-cheol at the Joong-Ang Sangha University.
이웅철 교수님께서는 한국 비구니 승가의
And today's title will be Activities and Future Direction of the Bhikkhuni Saṅgha.
이 귀한 법회에 초대해 주셔서 감사드립니다.
Thank you very much for inviting me here. My name is Kim Eung-cheol. I didn't know that it would be such a big conference. I'm the only male presenter here today. I'm kind of nervous, but I was supposed to have 40 minutes, but I guess I'll have to speed up and finish in 25 minutes. So how our historical development, I would speak about historical development of the Korean Bhikkhuni Saṅgha. And the reason why I was selected would have been maybe to talk about the development of the Korean Bhikkhuni Saṅgha. So the Korean Bhikkhuni Saṅgha started from Shilla dynasty to Goryeo, from Goryeo to Shilla and Joseon dynasty. So the Bhikkhuni Saṅgha was there were nuns who were officially allowed to enter the monastic system. So it was a vertical kind of hierarchy from royals to lower lay Buddhists, but I will skip that. So since the Joseon dynasty, there is Bhikkhuni temple called the Jeong-Ang. And Professor Jones, who asked me to talk about this, and I have a sister who is a Bhikkhuni, and I have been teaching at Joong-Ang Sangha University for 31 years, and I guess I can have a very positive kind of about Bhikkhuni Saṅgha. So Jeong-Ang was in Joseon dynasty. That was the Jeong-Ang was the only temple where Bhikkhunis could be ordained. So Jeong-Ang was established in Goryeo dynasty, and then there was Anirwon and Naewoltang in those in Goryeo dynasty, but they all subsided in Joseon dynasty. And Naewoltang, there was King Sejong who established a temple in memory of his queen, and then it was and the temple had a long history, subsiding and then being established again. So Naewoltang was established during the Joseon King Sejong dynasty, and the Naewondang was a royal temple in the Goryeo era. Then in Joseon era, the Naewondang became a particular Bhikkhuni temple. So it was commanded to pray for the royal family. So this is how the 정업원 looks like now, and there is a tombstone pavilion right now. But actually, that during King Eungcheol, the 정업원 was established there. This is 정업원 tombstone pavilion. 정업원 was there was 4 Bhikkhuni. So actually, the 정업원 was closed, and the 4 Bhikkhuni temples, 사승방, were the 4 Bhikkhuni temples that played a very important role in the Bhikkhuni Saṅgha. That is called 사승방, the 4, collectively 사승방, the 4 Bhikkhuni temples. So there was 보문사 was a small temple, but there is also, for Pomun order, there is Pomunsa and Mitasa. And we have Sangdok S님 here, who is abbess at the Mitasa temple. And there is also Cheongyangsa and Cheongyongsa. So those 4 temples are important Bhikkhuni temples. These temples are all still in the Seoul area. This is the Pomunsa temple, built in 1155 during Goryeo dynasty. In 1972, the Pomun order was established, and they are under renovation constructions, quite a large-scale construction, and they have kindergarten programs and so on. That was a very traditional temple, but now we will have to see after the constructions are over. And there is a Mitasa temple still now also. That was a Tapgol Seungbang temple. Built in 950, it is a considerable temple for nuns to reside and practice. There is also another Mitasa temple in Oksudong in Seoul, where Sangdok S님 is the abbess, and she has played many welfare establishment programs. Built in 888 during the Shilla dynasty by the Bhikkhuni Daewon. There are 8 hermitages right now. I went there to take pictures, but I don't have the time to show you them. So in one premises, there are 8 hermitages. At the previous Pomunsa temple, in one premise, there are 40 hermitages. So in such a large temple with hermitages inside, they strived for the propagation of the Buddha's teachings. Another one is Cheongyangsa temple. It was built in 400 years ago, and in 1973, it was designated as Choposa, a temple that makes tofu for ancestral rites, the Choposa. So it was in Hongneung area, but it was moved to another area. So since the Joseon area, when the king says make tofu, they had to make tofu. And when the king says to the nuns, make paper, so then they had to make papers. So that is how the Bhikkhuni Saṅgha had a long tradition. So instead of vanishing, they all survived. And in the capital city, in the capital city, there is Cheongyongsa Temple and Bomunsa Temple, Mitasa Temple, Cheongyangsa Temple, and Oksudong Mitasa Temple. So when there were too many nuns, they built little hermitages around the Namsan mountain area. But during the Joseon era dynasty, there were people who Bhikkhuni nuns had to derobe. There is a Cheongyangsa temple. The Cheongyangsa temple has 4 separate housings, and 20 Bhikkhunis are residing. There are many Bhikkhunis who are staying at large temples like Hanmaum-son Center, but also there are other Bhikkhunis who had to go through those hard times. There is Cheongyongsa Temple that is in the Seoul area. And in Joseon dynasty, female members and royalty members have either resided as lay Buddhist or as nuns. And Queen Jeongsun lived in this temple when she was 16 until she was 81 as Bhikkhuni Haegyong. The fact that she lived until 81 was a really important thing, because those Joseon dynasty only the average age was 40 years old, and she played a large role. And Bhikkhuni nuns had to sell little things in order to survive, and that is how they could propagate the Buddha's teachings. So how is the current status of Korean Bhikkhunis and the characteristics of Buddhist orders? Under Joge order, I did my research, and there are about 6,000 for under Joge order. And about 1,000 Bhikkhunis under Taego order. But nowadays, Bhikkhunis who are about 600 are getting involved actively. So there are 300 for Chonte order and 200 for Bomun order. And there are about 440 hermitages with 200 nuns, and also other orders. And there are about 30 orders who are actively propagating the Buddha's teachings. So, and there is also a Chingak Buddhist order of lay Buddhists, and there are about 100 who are under this order. So, about altogether, there are about 8,000 Bhikkhunis who are now. As for the Chingak Buddhist order, there are also female lay Buddhists. Now next, there are modern Korean Bhikkhuni Association organizations, and the National Bhikkhuni Association members are Bhikkhunis of the Joge Order, Pomen Order, and Sonagwon. A National Bhikkhuni Association of the Taego Order, only Bhikkhunis of the Taego Order of Korean Buddhism can be members. Next, this is the Pomyongsa of the Joge Order of Korean Buddhism National Bhikkhuni Association. And Bhikkhunis from the Joge Order have prepared for about 20 years to build this building. And at that time, Master Taeheng of Hanmaum Son Center supported wholeheartedly for the building of that Pomyongsa temple. She played a big role to build this building. So Taeheng Shunim, with the support of Master Taeheng, really helped a lot for the building of that National Bhikkhuni Association. So the National Bhikkhuni Association was originally established in 1967 under the name of Udambara Association, and in 1980 it was renamed as the National Bhikkhuni Association. Fully ordained nuns from the Joge Order are full members, novice nuns are associate members, and nuns belonging to the Pomen Order as special members. So this is about activities of the National Bhikkhuni Association of the Joge Order. You can see Venerable Ponggak's picture there. Ponggak S님 is a great leader who she's a scholar also. Ponggak S님 and many other Bhikkhunis played a role with their vows for the progress of the National Bhikkhuni Association. And they had many activities like forums, practice and education, scriptural study assemblies, and so on. I think there are about 2,000 hermitages led by Bhikkhunis, and I think that this is thanks to the activities of National Bhikkhuni Association. And in order that the Buddhism can grow, the contribution of Bhikkhunis is very important. So after maybe in 20 years from now on, I think about 30% of Bhikkhunis will decrease. This is a very important fact. So how would there be enough Bhikkhunis in the future? We had Bhikkhunis from Mongolia, but they couldn't stay long enough in Korea. The Mongolian monks came to Korea to practice, but also to earn money so that they can send the money to their countries, which is not a bad thing. But I hope that those nuns and monks could play also a role. As for educational institutions for nuns, the monastic colleges and the scriptural study centers, there are about 6,000 bhikkhunis who are learning and teaching in those colleges. There is the Donghaksa Monastic College, and there is also, this is the Unmunsa Monastic College. This is a really large college where Myeongsang, a master, established it. And there is the Bongyeongsa Monastic College, established is 1208. And this is the Cheonghamsa Monastic College. I couldn't find them. It was established in 858. Now, about the formation of a meditation family centered on sun meditation. There are about 1,000 bhikkhunis who are going to sun meditation centers for retreats in about 30 temples. And I would like to tell you about, there are many temples, but I would like to tell you about the Saṅgha temple, which is the most important temple as Bhikkhuni meditation center. At Saṅgha temple, Bhikkhuni In-hong fostered a number of talented entourage, including the following bhikkhunis: Boppi, Bobyeong, Bulpil, and Domun bhikkhunis. There are also hermitages on the same mountain as the main temple. There are sun centers for nuns that operates as branch temples under a headquarters temple. So this is Hanmaum Sun Center, but Heso S님 told us so skip it, but Hanmaum, which is one mind, and all is included in one mind. The one mind, or the spirit of all together is. We have to remember that that was the spirit that led this Hanmaum Sun Center. As noteworthy temple run by nuns, which, for example, the most important one would be city temple Jingwansa Temple in Seoul. At the Jingwansa temple, there are about 20 bhikkhunis who are providing all kinds of programs. There is social welfare foundation, daycare centers, kindergarten, and they are providing diverse social welfare services and Dharma propagation activities. It is also very famous for temple food and temple stay programs. And thanks to temples like Jingwansa Temple, those temples we have to learn a lot about. There are a lot about that we can learn from those temples. This is the Jingwansa Temple. Since 2011, about 15 halls were built. And there are many people who are every day visiting this temple. And last is a rural temple example, the Shinungsa Temple in Hwasong. It was Seong-il Snim, the abbess. She became abbess in 1973. It was very difficult to get there from Seoul. But Seong-il Snim went there. She, in 2018, completed a 30-year Avalokitesvara prayer. In 2022, she opened a children's Dharma hall, a training hall for young adults, to name a few, and about 3,000 children and young adults come to this temple for temple stay programs. So Jingwansa is a temple where 20 Bhikkunis are residing all together. And Shinungsa Temple in Hwasong is an important temple in the rural area. And Seongwan Snim, who is her disciple, was a teacher, and after she listened about Seong-il Snim's Dharma talk, she decided to get ordained. So there are so many temples that we may not know, but they are in every places in Korea, and those Bhikkhuni, and they are Bhikkunis, and we have to remember them. And I don't worry too much about the fact that maybe Bhikkunis, the number of Bhikkunis would reduce, but I don't think there is too much to worry since the society is developing, and together the Bhikkhuni Saṅgha will also be able to solve their issues. We have computers, robots, and at the temple, Bhikkunis who were working at their gardens and so on. But with the development of the society, there will be a time when Bhikkunis will also be able to adjust to the development of the society. So there is not much to worry. And sometimes about the culture, the temple culture, that Bhikkunis are still the culture of temple, Bhikkunis should develop them according to the development of the society to this 21st century. Okay, I think this is all. Thank you very much.